Hello everyone, Adam here from 3 Count Radio, and today I have the fastest rising referee in wrestling today. She's been anywhere you can think of, she's been, and she's ever improving. Laura Kate, the referee, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? That was a nice intro, thank you.
No problem at all. I like to take pride in the intros. But yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
What have you been up to? How have you been?
Yeah, good. Apart from getting over this lurgy that everyone seems to be getting, but a lot of people in wrestling seem to have it as well. So I don't think we're passing it to each other though. I just think it's a coincidence. But but yeah. So yeah. So I've not been training for a bit. I think I last went a couple of weeks ago. So yeah. So I'm feeling like I need to get back into it.
Was that back when I went watching, or was it a week after?
It was a Wednesday, so
Oh,
probably the week after that.
yeah.
I couldn't go on the Saturday because I had Odyssey, I think, or I had Odyssey that week anyway. So yeah, so I'd missed it, which was I wanted to get back in there.
Fair play, fair play. So, what was the inspiration to get good old Laura Kate into wrestling?
Into wrestling. So I've always been a fan, like on and off. When I was about 7 or 8, I think I turned on because there used to be I think it was Raw or SmackDown. I think it was Raw actually. And it was like late 90s, and I turned on like Channel 5. It used to be on Channel 5, and I was just like, this looks like so cool. Like what is this? I think I got the PlayStation game. I can't remember the title of it. It's the one with Austin on the front. And I think I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, and so I'd like play that like all the time. But then I stopped watching it really because like I'm an only child and stuff, and like I didn't have like any other like I'm quite close to my cousins, but we're quite a small family, so I didn't have like anyone who liked it or like could influence me in that way. And then sort of rekindled like being a fan in like sort of 2014 on and off again, and then became like a hardcore fan like 2016 with NXT. Absolutely just loved it, and me and my partner really got into it. So it was something that I'd always like go like be watching and being a spectator and think, wow, this is awesome, like I'm absolutely loving it. But never thought like that I could do it. I thought you've got to be a special type of person to be a wrestler, and so yeah, it never really like crossed my mind. And then in when AEW, well, actually before that, when Jess Carr came in, being like the first female referee, that sort of like opened my eyes a bit more, and I was like, wow, there's actually like a female referee, because I've never seen like a female referee before, especially on like the like main like products on TV and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. But still never crossed my mind really, because I was like, you probably have to train, and you probably have to like, they're probably just like people who used to be wrestlers, and like I can't be a wrestler and blah blah blah. And then when AEW came about, and then Aubrey Edwards was one of the referees signed, I was like, wow, another female referee. This is not just like a fluke with a Jess. Like this is really cool. And it like opened my eyes in that way to like refereeing, because obviously being a fan of wrestling and then thinking to myself, oh, I can never do it. But then it was like that little like door that opened of like, maybe you could do refereeing, maybe that could be a thing. So yeah. And then I knew that James Drake had a school with Fighting Spirit, and So I contacted him just on a whim. I was just like, I'm just going to message him straight. Why not? And this was just before the pandemic, I think, actually.
Okay.
And unfortunately, like their school had to close and stuff. But he was like, we don't do specific referee training, but you'd have to come and do the wrestling, and then do the wrestling training, and then we'll just figure you out from there, sort of thing. And so then he recommended Future Shock, and the rest is history, I suppose. Yeah.
And then we met.
Yeah, on our first ever training session at the beginners.
So, for those of you who don't know, we started training together. Laura and I started training at the exact same time, and you were the first. Us two locked up. We were the first lock up. You were the first person I locked up with.
Yeah, that's insane to think about it now. Like, we actually were the first people that we locked up with, and it's like crazy.
It's so cool. It's so cool. So from that, to watch that, and I was the first person you looked up with, vice versa. And looking at you now, refereeing all these shows, it's just astounding to see. It's so great.
Thank you.
And it deserves to be said. Seriously, it does. Like it always makes me curious in the way of, because when you watch wrestling, you think, okay, 9 times out of 10, you think people are getting to the business, you gotta go, oh, how about wrestling? How about this? But then you get the announcers, and you get the referees, and you get all these other incredible personalities. So it always makes me curious to see you try and find out the road they took. You know what I mean? Because I had Tony Wright on, who went into announcing as well. It's always fascinating to find out the road, because each like personality, each characteristic, each job in wrestling, like wrestling won't be the same if you don't have the announcers, the referees, this, that, the other. If you don't have the referees, it'll just be 2 people in the ring. Yeah,
there's no match for that referee. So it was a bit redundant. So yeah, you definitely need referees. 100%. Need lots of them.
We need the zebras.
Yeah.
It is brilliant, but was it a learning curve, like when you started?
Yeah. So it's like two brains, because it's not like I knew about wrestling and I trained and I had that like automatic pilot of wrestling down. It was like wrestling's new, refereeing's new, and like you can't do them at the same time, but wrestling helps the refereeing. So hence why I still train, even I love it anyway. But you kind of need it to be a good referee as well. So yeah.
To be able to take the moves, but also to be able to understand the psychology of it as well.
Yeah. And for like ring awareness, and like where their shoulders are going to lie, and be prepared for anticipating that. And so yeah, it's a lot more, your mind's going a lot more, I would imagine, in refereeing, because my mind's always like going thinking where the shoulder's going to lie, what's going to come up next, and like you don't know sometimes what's going to come up next, no idea, and you just have to go with it, and just enforce the rules, no matter what happens. But then obviously, like with wrestling, you can plan it, not that obviously everyone does, but like wrestlers I've seen like working shows and stuff, like majority like to plan it, at least have the bare bones of it. So yeah, it's a lot more like, I guess you can go into it knowing more what you're doing, whereas refereeing, you don't really know. It's a lot more to think about, definitely.
Yeah, I can understand that. You hear it a lot. A great referee is one that isn't noticed, because when people are watching the match, they're paying so much attention to the action.
Yeah.
So it is an art in and among itself, refereeing in my eyes anyway. Each different individual basis of a wrestling show is an art in and among itself.
Yeah.
Well, I can guess, because I'm nowhere near there yet, but I can guess when wrestlers, trained proper legitimate wrestlers, are planning a match, I can kind of imagine it like planning a promo where some people, myself, I'm kind of like this, promo wise anyway, where they have the foundations of what they want to get in. Like, say a promo, for example, you have like, I want this quote, I want it to be about this specific thing, this, that, the other. And then when they go out there, they fill in the blanks with the foundation.
Yeah.
I can imagine it being like that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think that's how most people work. And I think that's how I would as well with if I ever did. Well, I will do wrestling in training, but if I ever don't know if I'd ever do it in the show. Who knows? I don't know.
Things can change. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I watched the Generation Ref in Greenwood take on the She-Wolves at TNT. So you never know.
Exactly. Like we've all trained in wrestling, so yeah, I think like old school refs, like some of them didn't, which I feel like they've had a like a harder time to get adjusted to refereeing, because I don't know how they did it, because I definitely need wrestling training to sort of like help me learn the refereeing like theory as well. So yeah.
I can understand that. It's same with a lot of things really. You can't understand what you're refereeing if you don't understand the product itself.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. Like football referees were like ex-footballers and stuff, so like they know the rules and they know how to enforce them and stuff, and they've like played the game themselves or whatever. So it's kind of like that, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like? Because you've of course been training to become a referee, and you have been training under three of the single best in the world in my eyes, in Dan Sheeder, Chris Sharp, and well, James Greenwood. I mean, it's really, what's it like learning under those three? Because they're genuine legends in the business. 100%.
Yeah, I am so super lucky. Like I don't know what I'd do without them. Like we have become such fast friends, and like it's like having brothers. And I said this to Sheeda, I was like, you lot are my brothers, because I'm an only child, and it's just so to have to be like taken under the wing, especially with someone like Chris Sharp as well, is just like so lucky. And I I don't know what I've done to deserve this. But yeah, it's just so, they're just amazing, like all three of them. And it's when I go to shows, and I did like ring crew or doing the time calls for like Dan and James and stuff, and just watching them and just like studying them and stuff, and just thinking, I hope to be as good as that one day, and just like take what they sort of do and try and apply it in my own way. And they're always really supportive at shows, and giving me feedback, and like Chris like is amazing. He'll like take the time out of his super busy schedule to give me notes and things, and help me become better. And it's just, I'll just reiterate how lucky I am, and just how much of an insane ride this has been already.
Honestly, there aren't many better you can learn from in those three. They are truly, not just like great at the job, but as you were saying just then, such amazing human beings, such wonderful people. Like you
Yeah,
could genuinely just stand and talk to them and just get lost in conversation. They are that nice. They're that great.
yeah. No, they're
And
fantastic people, and I'm lucky to call them friends, definitely, and mentors.
so 100%, yeah. It's it's great because like I've got people I look up to in the wrestling world. Like I look at and think, right, I want to reach that pinnacle one day. Of course, Sam Bailey, Chris Ridgway, like right off the bat, those two, just Isaiah Quinn,
Yeah,
just absolute gods and men. But in the refereeing world, it's so great that there are like those three talents local that you can
yeah,
learn from. It's so great. They are brilliant.
yeah, yeah. That's it, and yeah, it's just amazing to be under their learning tree, under the umbrella, um, and yeah, it's just be inspired by. I watch a lot of. I try and watch other referees as well, just to try and get every style and every personality that I can try and think, oh, I like the way they did that, and I'll try and use that next time and stuff. So
There are nuances.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. I'm exactly the same. It's all about taking those little things and kind of making it your own to make yourself
Yeah,
individual because you see a lot of people kind of can like there's a difference between um being inspired by someone or something and then like taking it. But
you're not copying it.
I think a lot of people do it without meaning to, if you get what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
It's just kind of like refinement.
yeah.
I mean, I'm talking as if I know everything here. I'm a novice at best, but yeah, like
Okay, we're both novices. Fine. We're learning as we go.
yes, exactly. It's great though. It really is great because
Don't die.
pardon me, sorry about that. When you like, was it I can imagine it being nerve wracking because I was there for your first LWF show,
Mm,
and you were not given an easy task. Like, was it 6-man scramble? Was it?
yeah.
That's not easy.
It's a no DQ, so it's a bit of a misconception that it's like, oh, it's so crazy. But all I have to do is just let him get on with it, and then just count pins, and then yeah, I can't really enforce anything. I can try and make them not do what they're about to do,
Yeah.
but they can do whatever they want. So it's an easier because there's less rules to enforce. There's less to think about. So it looks manic, but I'm just chilling out in the back.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
And
That's a good
getting the
insight.
best seat in the house as well.
Fair. Yeah, that is very true. Actually, very true. Have my memory might not be very good at this, but have you have you ever refereed multiple matches in one card in one night?
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure you have, but I didn't. I wanted to ask just in case.
yeah. So my first ever show at Superstar, I did 2 matches, which was really good because I said to Greenwood that I just need to get out there. There's only so much that you can train with refereeing. I still go and train with Sam Bailey at Future Shock, and sometimes Dan Cheetah comes along and things, and we have spots that we can referee and mini matches that we can referee and things and full matches. But it's different when there's a crowd there and the wrestlers are on, and like they're more on. It's not just like a training match. And I like to sort of like draw energy from the crowd, because I'm like, people have paid to see this. People pay the good money, so I better look legit. Um, so yeah, so I was very lucky that Jay, who's one of the promoters from Superstar, gave me a chance, and Greenwood helped facilitate that. So that was amazing that I got the opportunity, and then it just snowballed from there. So yeah, I think I do at least a couple of matches per show. I think the only exception was at Future Shock, where I just ref the women's matches, and there was one per show. So I think that was the only time.
Fair enough. Fair play. Do you find it easy, or is it more difficult to referee multiple matches? Because the way I see it, the way I've always believed it, is you've got more spots and things to memorize if you've got more matches to referee.
Yeah. So you've got to sort of be very methodical with how you go about it. And I've got my notebook, and I like to write things, like the main things down. And yeah, so then I can remember it. Also, like Greenwood and Dan have been doing it for so long that they can just ask a wrestler what the main points are and what the finish is, and then just remember it. But I'm like, you told me and now I've forgotten, because then another person will have theirs, another match, and another wrestlers, and then that match will get pushed out of my head. So I definitely have to be very organized to remember everything.
It does make sense. It does make sense. Like where the art form comes in.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with experience, you only get better.
Yes, that's it. And we're very lucky to be in each other's ears when we're on shows. Most of the time, unless it's one referee for the whole show. But it's good to sort of have that backup of, just in case you forget or you just misplaced it or whatever. And yeah, it's good to sort of get a reminder as well, which is nice.
Yeah, that's always good to have someone else in your ear. Yeah, I can imagine that being kind of like a safety blanket, just in case.
Yes, that's it, definitely.
Do you have a certain wrestler, or maybe multiple wrestlers, or in that vein, a type of match that you would like to officiate in the future?
Wrestlers, definitely Will Ospreay. I would love to referee one of his matches. I'd have to not be starstruck. just have to focus on the task at hand. But yeah, that would be like, if that could happen, I'd be over the moon. And tag, like just thinking of like singles and then tag team, Aussie Open, who I've only just known about this year, because I went to watch Rev Pro, one of their shows in September, and in Sheffield, and it wasn't both members of Aussie Open, it was just Cal Fletcher that was on a singles match, and he just blew me away. And he's also in a faction with Will Ospreay. I thought his performance was very like Will Ospreay-esque. And they're probably around the same age anyway. But yeah, so that tag team and Will Ospreay would be amazing to referee. I was a second ref on at Odyssey for a TLC match, which was so Cool. Yeah. On Twitter, there is me jumping and skipping. I'm so happy.
Oh, I
Alison,
couldn't get there for that show, but that little clip
I
made my
became a
night.
meme. Anderson Daniels made me a meme. Bless his heart. It was so
Anderson
funny.
Daniels is an absolute sweetheart.
He is. I love him. And yeah, so that made the rounds on Twitter, which was hilarious. Because I didn't even know that I'd like done it so joyfully as well. I think I was like trying not to fall over RPD, to be honest, and I was making sure he was okay. But yeah, so that was cool to be on the outside and like just being there just to make sure that all the guys were as safe as they could have been. But I would really like to be like the first like the main referee for like a TLC match. I think that's as hardcore as I'd go.
Yeah. I think that's as far as I go. Probably, I'm not much of a deathmatch person myself, but I watched the deathmatch at TNT Extreme Theaters live. Right there, in like yards away, and that was brutal. And the one thing that was on my mind was because we were at the bar, so I was turning around at that like, yeah, what the bloody hell are the bar staff thinking here if they've never seen wrestling?
Yeah.
And they're seeing people hit each other in the head with light fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It was mental.
Yeah. Not my... I mean, as a referee, like they'd wear, because James Greenwood and Scott Bell do a lot of the extreme matches, and they've got the gardening gloves on and the goggles, and counting pins in glass. I imagine that because the gloves are thick enough, like the glass wouldn't get in. But knowing me, I'd end up slicing myself open. So I think it's best to steer clear from any rings that have glass in them. Definitely, I'll leave that to the boys.
The funny thing about that would be if you did, and you went to the back, you're like, I've got glass in my hand, and then they walk back, saturated in blood, glass everywhere, and you look at you and you just go,
yeah. This makes you feel so inferior, just like I can't complain. I am not complaining about anything because you have just put your body on the line, and respect. So I'm just gonna pretend everything's fine.
I'm okay. I'm just
like the tiniest shard of glass is always in there.
To be fair, that would be me. Even if I was like anywhere near it, that would be me. Like the closest I got to it was walking over the glass trying to leave. Like after the show, of course.
Yeah. Not during.
Glass just everywhere. Just mad. One of the best shows I've ever been to, though.
Yeah, I think I would go to witness it, but I don't know whether I'd be like this most of the time.
It was a spectacle. To watch it live, I've never seen a deathmatch live before, so it was a spectacle to watch live. Like a lot of expletives were shouted by the fans at sheer horror about what they were watching, but it was from top to bottom. There wasn't a bad match. If anybody has Powered, pays for Powered, it's on there. I highly recommend it. One of the best shows going in my eyes. That particular show was stunning. 8 hours, so it's a long day, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Do it again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. For the future, do you have any goals, any aspirations, near, far future, anything in between?
I think I would just love to just keep growing and just doing what I'm doing and getting to work for more promotions and more promotions in the Northwest that I haven't worked for yet. Because Tuesday Night Graps is back. love to do that. That'd be so cool. And then sort of more up and down the country as well, and just sort of get as much experiences as possible, and just get as much different experiences to sort of put into my repertoire, and to make what I do better. And I mean, like the sort of biggest goal, obviously, I would love to have this as like a full-time job. I think I'd have to pinch myself every single day if I could referee for a full-time job. That'd be so cool. But if that happens, that happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'd always try and be like, I just want to be the best that I can be personally. So wherever that takes me, I'll just go along for the ride.
Love it. I love it. I wish you all the best, because you bloody well deserve it. You really do. Thank you. That means a lot. It's not a problem at all. Laura, thank you for coming on. Well, actually, no, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Do you have anything to plug? Any shows, social media, anything like that? Almost deprived you of the opportunity to plug them. Yes. So, when's this going out though? Because some of the shows might have already gone. Yeah. I have just to let everyone know, I've failed to kind of actually mention this. Since we're in the month of December, I've kind of mass recorded a few podcasts to go out over the month. So I'm not, bugging people through Christmas, which I'm pretty sure nobody wants. Yeah. Especially for you to go, oh, do you want to come on a podcast? Oh, it's Christmas? Oh no. There you go. So this will probably come out a bit late on in the month, I think. Okay. Which usually I don't like to record too many at once, because I have a 2-week per upload schedule, and they can get a bit backlogged. But yeah, I don't want to be bugging people through Christmas. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I won't have any shows to plug because they've all gone. If you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, it's the same handle. It's Ref Laura Kate, all one word. And that's me. That's where you can find me if you want. Get follow him. Twitter, Instagram, get follow him. You won't regret it. Laura. Ooh. I do have something to plug. Ooh. Odyssey in January. That'll be I think that's my first show of the new year actually. So that's in Morecambe, and it is 29th of January. So I will be there. And I think I'm doing it with Scott Bell, which will be really, really fun because I love working with him. So yeah. Okay, fair enough. Haven't had the pleasure to go to an Odyssey show yet, and that's on my bucket list. Definitely. They're really fun. So I've only ever done one, but it was so much fun. So yeah. I can imagine that. I've only ever heard great reviews from Odyssey. Only ever heard great reviews. Yeah, they're fantastic company. Yeah. Shame it's a little bit far away for me to be able to get there frequently, but if I only get there once, I'll get there, because then I'll be able to say that I've been to Odyssey. Yeah. And I want to just want to get to as many shows as you can, can't you? Yeah, that's it. Wrestling's wrestling, and wrestling's great. Yes, wrestling is awesome. Yeah. Laura, thank you so much for coming on. No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been fun. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honest pleasure. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you later.